Today's date is October 7th, 2017. Hello, and welcome to Hit the Books Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Holcomb.
And I'm Emery Saunders.
And we're here to give you all the saucy deets on everything comics this week. Emery, what have you been reading?
Well, as you can see right here, I've been reading Miracle Man.
Looks awfully familiar.
Right. This is issue 2 in what looks to be a series that is promised to be at least 12 issues long. I don't know what it is about the story. It's just very, very well done. I'm hooked. As a Marvel guy, I honestly wish Marvel had something this good.
So nothing from Marvel tickling your interest right now.
I mean, there are books that I'm reading from Marvel, but that's just to kind of stay fresh. Lately, I've been catching myself up on X-Men Gold, which, I don't know what it is. It just seems like the same old stuff here.
Was gold or blue the one you liked? I thought it was gold, but apparently is it wearing down on you?
I think blue is the one that I liked mostly because it's like, oh, the team from the 60s, the original 5. We're going to bring them to the current day. Oh, no, wait. We've had them in the current day for a while. Let's separate them from the rest of the other X-Men that are actually from the current day and let them do their own current day thing. But also give them Magneto.
Yeah, well, we've said this a lot, so
Yeah.
we probably don't need to rehash it again.
Yeah, I mean, everything that I've read from X-Men Blue still sounds like a lot of fun, but with a lot of new weird stuff in it. Like the first issue, for some reason, with all of the new stuff that all of the X-Men or just people up to date with current like X-Men science are capable of, Beast can just teleport people. He managed to deal with the Juggernaut by basically teleporting him to, I think, a prison, but he used hell as a shortcut. I don't know what's going on.
Doesn't he know? He's the Juggernaut, bitch!
I don't think the Juggernaut knows that he's the Juggernaut bitch anymore. We're
when an internet meme becomes a real movie scene. Oh, you know that somebody messed up.
It hurts. It hurts.
The Juggernaut, bitch!
Then this literally sounds like that scene literally sounds like they tacked it on because they've basically been writing the script as they go.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is what a lot of that movie looked like.
X-Men 3.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hurt.
So, as I told you before we started recording, I haven't been reading anything because, again, I'm busy.
Yeah.
And this shit takes time.
Yeah, school's pretty...
School, work, producing all this stuff. It takes a while.
Yeah.
And I'm still in my back catalog. I still have to finish, not Forever Evil, but Batman Beyond. Whatever the year thing, the Batman 75th anniversary.
Yeah.
Long stream was. I haven't picked it up in so long. I'm already forgetting the name of it. But you thankfully loaned me Mr. Miracle.
Yeah, that's right.
And
what'd you think of it?
Again, I have to agree. It's like it's keeping me in there, and like there's just so many little things that you're just like, what is going on? I have to know. And, like I'm trying to piece the little puzzle together, but I can't figure it out for the life of me. And I'm like, is he dead? Is he not dead? Is this something else? Is somebody scheming him? Is somebody manipulating him? And of course, Darkseid is. Although I don't think they used it as well this time.
No,
the first issue it really got to me and gave me goosebumps this time. It was like the one time Darkseid is, and I'm like,
it was like kind of just a little reminder.
Yeah,
that was not what I wanted it to be. Although this issue did give me something that I thought was just like joke fuel. Metron.
Yeah.
It's like just the concept of that character just as a character always just tickled me.
Yeah.
It's like he's just the guy in the chair who just watches everything.
Well, I mean, Batman got to be Metron technically for a little while there.
Yeah, we know how that turned out.
3 Jokers? Really, DC? God, I hate you.
Yeah, there are 3.
But I love you.
There are 3 Jokers. There's Heath Ledger, Jack Nicholson, and not Jared Leto.
Yeah. That's pretty much what they put for the comic book versions.
Yeah. Oh.
So weird.
Yeah, that always tickled me.
So-
The way that they presented Metron as just like a from out of nowhere.
Yeah. What's up?
It's like,
You must not. I won't ruin it for you.
yeah, we won't ruin it for you, but you really need to read this. Oh
That's-
my god.
I just kind of picture him as like Mr. Bean, essentially. Just in a big cosmic chair.
It's like I also imagine him with a very animated face for like an old person.
Yeah. I don't know. Just small things.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was a great issue. It kept me interested for more. And the new issue 3 is coming out this week. So
Hey.
pick it up on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's right. Check it out.
And with that, let's get into the news.
All right. So what do we got going on in the world of comics?
Our all-time favorite movie, Justice League Part 1.
Have they confirmed that it's a part 1 or
I don't know.
Yeah, at this point, fuck it.
I hope they just cancel it. If there is a part 2, I don't need it. Another trailer is coming out. This will be the 4th trailer, I think. Is coming out tomorrow, which is October 8th. And it's probably going to just be reshoots of the original trailer. Since they had to reshoot this movie like a month ago.
Yeah, I remember looking this up earlier, and I could not stop chuckling at this.
Yeah. Again, maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised and it'll be good. And, I think Aquaman looks probably great. Batman is Batman. It's hard to mess up Batman. Even if he is a fat murder bat. And then we got Wonder Woman still, but that Flash costume and Cyborg. Ooh. Looking real rough.
I mean, I understand the logic behind the Flash's costume is like basically give a guy powers and, he's going to try to come up with his own suit. And not everyone's a tailor.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's just crafted a bunch of stuff together piecemeal and just kind of strung it together because maybe he's so fast it'll fall off.
So busy. So shiny.
There's a lot going on.
And
Not nearly as much as what's going on with Cyborg, though.
honestly, I'm going to do my best to not watch it because DC, at least the Snyderverse DC, is horrible about spoilers in their trailers. Just the absolute worst. And I just don't want to. I just don't want to. If there's anything to be gained, at least in the form of a surprise, I want it to be an actual surprise.
Yeah, like a for real surprise.
Anything else on it?
Well, it would be nice to see them maybe turn up the color saturation a little bit.
Yeah,
because
maybe a little less gray.
Yeah, like I don't know what it is about like how they handle their colors, but they muted the shit out of like everyone's costume.
Yeah, maybe we'll get to see Cavill's mustache. maybe they'll put makeup over it like Romero.
Oh,
Romero's Joker.
Oh,
Just put some makeup over it.
Is like makeup on that.
Nobody will notice. This Mission Impossible apparently can't function without his mustache.
They couldn't like spring for a tape on.
So,
we have
so
to
frustrating.
CGI this shit out. Oh my god!
This movie is just in production hell.
Like it's about to be released and it's still in production hell.
Yeah. Our next news item: The Tick will return February 2018 on Amazon Prime. And I don't know what the ratings were like. I haven't seen the new one. I watched the old one all the time because I thought it was funny. But I haven't watched it. I have Amazon Prime. I just haven't watched it.
Oh, yeah. I actually have watched all 6 of their episodes currently. And I'll say this. The Tick is going to look weird in that first episode, but they fixed that immediately with the second episode.
How so?
Well, after they aired the first episode, I think, basically got the okay to do like the other 5.
Oh, really?
And it looks like they definitely redesigned his suit.
All right, cool.
With that said, this is very much an Arthur story. Very much an Arthur story, and it works.
All right.
It definitely works. Watch it. For the love of God, watch this show.
Yeah, I need to. Although I'm behind on several things, so we'll see how that goes. I
Add it
still
to the
haven't
list.
watched all the Marvel stuff on Netflix, and I'm just the worst.
Add it to the list.
I am. I'm the worst. Next up on the news docket, we have Vertigo announced at New York City Comic Con. Vertigo will relaunch in 2018.
Hey,
I haven't announced what titles yet, but that's cool because Vertigo, for those who don't know, is the mature version of DC. And they basically take the more fringe characters from DC and make more adult stories. Used to be more like, Constantine and Swamp Thing and that.
Hashtag save Constantine.
Yeah. Oh, man, I miss Constantine. Not Keanu Reeves.
Matt Ryan.
Yeah, Matt Ryan.
Yeah. Please come back.
Oh, we miss you.
We miss you so
Your
much.
sultry voice. Beautiful face.
You brilliant English bastard. We love you.
Speaking of the English, we like Jaffa Cakes. Unofficial sponsor.
Sidebar. Yeah, Jaffe. Or Jaffa.
Yeah, they're not a sponsor. We just like them. But, yeah, I'm glad to see Vertigo's finally kicking it back because basically DC just kind of plundered all of Vertigo and the New 52 reboot and have not stopped plundering Vertigo since. So Vertigo has just kind of slowly died.
Yeah. It definitely needs its time to come back and really shine like it can.
Yeah, and granted, I like DC having more mature content in the main DC line, but DC still won't go to certain lengths. They still won't go beyond certain bars, whereas Vertigo had no problem with pushing the envelope because they knew kids wouldn't accidentally pick one up or something, So, look out for that in 2018. Look out for the new releases coming to that line pretty soon. If they have released lists of it, I haven't seen it yet. So, and that, my friends, is the news.
So what books are we going to be hitting up this week?
Well, Emery, I thought you'd never ask. We have a lot of stuff coming up, so bear with me. Internet seems to be reloading, so we'll see if we get interrupted. From Marvel Comics, we have All New Wolverine, number 25, Legacy. We have Daredevil, number 27. We have Gwenpool, number 21, Legacy. We have Hulk, number 11. We have Inhumans, Once and Future Kings, number 3. We have Marvel Universe, Guardians of the Galaxy, number 23. We have Miss Marvel, number 23. We have Rocket, number 6. We have Runaways, number 2. We have Star Wars, Dr. Aphra, I always stumble on the name. I'm like, Afra? Number 13. Fucking nerds. We have The Amazing Spider-Man, number 789, Legacy. We have The Amazing Spider-Man, Renew Your Vows, number 12. We have The Defenders, number 6, Legacy.
Yeah, that's right. Renew Your Vows. That's a good one.
Yeah, we talked about it last time, I think.
Yeah, we did.
The Despicable Deadpool, number 287, Legacy. The Falcon, number 1, Legacy. The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, number 25. Uncanny Avengers, number 28, Legacy. Weapon X, number 9. X-Men Blue, number 13, Legacy. And Zombies Assemble 2, number 3. I'm scared. From IDW, we have variants. Oh my god. All right, nothing but variants. Sorry, IDW. From DC, we have Batgirl and the Birds of Prey, number 15. We have Bombshells United, number 3. We have DC... Oh, excuse me. We have Dark Knights Metal, number 3. We have Detective Comics, number 966. We have Gotham City Garage, number 1. We have Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns, number 30. We have Justice League of America, number 16. We have New Superman, number 16. We have Ragman, number 1. Pick this one up. We have Red Hood and the Outlaws, number 15. We have Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, number 86. We have Scooby Apocalypse, the hipster, number 18. We have Suicide Squad, number 27. We have Supergirl, number 14. We have Superwoman, number 15. We have The Flash, number 32. We have Wildstorm, Michael Cray, number 1. We have Wonder Woman, number 32. That wraps up DC. From Image, we have Atomahawk, number 0. We have Eternal Empire, number 5. We have God Complex, number 1. We have Redlands, number 3. We have Retcon, number 2. We have Scales and Scoundrels, number 2. We have The Divided States of Hysteria, number 5. Sounds familiar? We have The Dying and the Dead, number 6. We have The Family Trade, number 1. And that wraps up Image. Keep doing what you're doing. We love you, Image.
Oh, yeah.
From Dynamite, we have Fruit Ninja, number 2.
Wait. You're serious?
Wonder if you just swipe the pages.
Will that shred it?
That would be wonderful. Probably just as entertaining.
Probably.
We have your boy, The Dresden Files, Dogman, number 5.
For a second there, I thought you were reading off a title that said "Ya boy."
Ya boys. Ya boys, number 1.
Next title, "Ya boy."
All right, and that wraps up Dynamite. From Dark Horse, we have American Gods, Shadows, number 8, which has some cool covers with it. We have Briggsland, Lone Wolves, number 5. We have Gru, Play of the Gods, number 4. We have Harrow County, number 26. We have Hellboy and the BPRD 1955, Occult Intelligence, Number 2. Shorten your titles, man. And that wraps up Dark Horse. From Boom Studios, we have Adventure Time 2017 Spooktacular, number 1. We have Diesel Gear Shift Special, number 1. We have Lazaretto, number 2. Hopefully I pronounced that right. We have Mech Cadet U, number 3. We have Slam, The Next Jam, number 2. We have Skyborn, number 5. And finally, The Woods, number 36. Let's see here. From Archie Comics, we have Archie Halloween Spectacular, number 1. We have Betty and Veronica, Double Comics Digest, number 257. We have Marvel Comics Digest, number 3, Thor. We have World of Archie Jumbo Comic Digest, number 72. Valiant has nothing but variants. Shame on you, Variant. And, of course, as we mentioned earlier, from DC, I forgot this one because it's listed poorly. We have Mr. Miracle, number 3.
Yes.
The one you should be picking up most.
Yes.
Don't want to forget that one. And that is everything coming to your local comic book shops.
Please support your local comic book shops.
And digital devices this week. Now it's time to hand out the prestigious, nay life-changing, award of Cover of the Week and Variant Cover of the Week. For those unfamiliar, this is where we hand out our favorite cover and variant cover of the week and give a shout-out to the artists.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here.
Our regular cover of the week goes to Gotham City Garage, number 1 by Raphael Albuquerque. This cover's pretty cool. It's got Harley Quinn on a motorcycle. Everybody does Harley Quinn now, but this was cool because she's on a motorcycle and she's got a wrench. She's about to beat some ass.
She's a hot, crazy clown.
On a motorcycle.
That's what we're into nowadays.
But no, it's good artwork. It looks cool. I'd put it up happily. So
yeah.
Unfortunately, some of the regular covers this week haven't been spectacular. A lot of good variants, but we can only give the award to one variant. So
that's right.
And
speaking of that variant,
and again, shout out to Raphael Albuquerque. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing your name correctly. For our variant cover of the week, we hand it to Mr. Miracle, number 3 by Mitch Gerards or Gerards. Hopefully, one of those is correct.
It's your boy Mitch. Back at it again.
Yeah, this is a pretty cool one. It has Mr. Miracle in his regular outfit. It's got free. With a beard, glasses, and a Batman t-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
With what looks like kind of a huge group of paparazzi around him. But on all the screens, you see Mr. Miracle in his costume on the screens. And it's all like the panels you saw from the first comic where everything's kind of staticky and strange. And
it's a distorted image.
Yeah, so it just adds to the intrigue of the story. And that's my favorite thing when a variant cover, or regular cover for that matter, instead of just going out on a limb and doing their own thing, actually adds to the story. And I feel like this variant cover actually adds to the story and the intrigue.
Yeah, the concept. This is concept art. It's like, imagine for a moment you have all of these people, the paparazzi, if you will, taking a picture of like, oh, it's this famous hero, Mr. Miracle. He can escape from anything. And it's like on all of the phones and cameras, you see Mr. Miracle in all his glory.
Yeah.
But what is actually in front of you is just a guy who looks tired and kind of worn down by life, trying to deal with the fact that he's being watched all of the time and maybe doesn't want to have anything to do with that, or maybe he's just done. Yeah.
So, shout out once again to Mitch Gerards or Gerards, hopefully spelled Gerads. Hopefully one of those pronunciations were correct. Unfamiliar with your work, so I apologize. What do you think of our choice? Pretty good?
Oh yeah.
I thought it was a pretty good week.
I would definitely say the variants this week were all pretty good. But it's like you said, this was the one cover that actually like adds something to the story. It's like you get to see a new perspective on like the life of a hero.
Yeah. I want to give a small shout out to American Gods from Dark Horse Comics, though, because they had their regular cover was pretty neat too. It had kind of like a scientist going crazy with a cadaver with some spectators and stuff. And anytime you have excessive anatomy at including internal organs at play and you draw it well, it's gonna win my heart a little bit. And then their variant was actually pretty cool. It had a really unique kind of like, I don't know. I feel like it's like a DMT trip of one of the characters, just a very spatially diverse and colorful picture. Is pretty cool. So
Kinda
shout out.
psychedelic.
Yeah, they didn't win our covers of the week, but they get a shout out because I appreciated both of them.
Oh yeah.
All right. And for our new friends out there, this is the part of the show where we each bring a topic to discuss about the world of comics. Emery, what's your topic?
My topic for today is, well, as you know, it's October. It's that time of year again. It is that time of year when everyone who's into comics or comic book related media is becoming more and more acquainted with the world of cosplay.
I have a feeling I know where you're going with this.
I think you can see where I'm going with this. For any of you watching the actual video, I am wearing just one part of the Gambit costume that I am going to be wearing later this month. My topic is actually going to be about the entry of getting into cosplay. And I'm going to say from experience, there's lots of ways to get into it. With this thing that I'm wearing on my face right now, correction, I'm wearing it on literally every other part of my head except my face. I basically just bought something off of Amazon and cut out the face to it.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, there's a lot of cosplayers out there that like to get into like different materials, maybe like Warbler, like moldable things like that.
Yeah, there's a few of them that even have like their own fabric line at Joann Fabrics and stuff. I've seen them before.
Oh yeah,
they're super expensive too.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a cosplayer, but I've been there a few times with exes of mine, searching for things to make different things with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that expensive getting into it. For certain...
And if you don't have sewing skills, like, it's just daunting. Like,
oh, yeah.
I've been interested. I've never cosplayed. I mean, I've dressed up in costumes for, like, Halloween, like, I still have it somewhere. I have, like, the Tim Burton Batman mask with the yellow logo.
Oh, yeah?
It's like the rubber cowl that you pull down and it sticks up by itself and stuff. And basically,
brilliant.
Basically, I just took a black bed sheet and cut spikes at the bottom and tied it around my neck. And then I wore some boots I spray painted black and some like skateboarding, like elbow pads and knee pads and like shin guards from soccer. I spray painted those black and wore black clothes with it.
Suitable armor.
Yeah, and it works pretty well. It worked out. It looked pretty cool. I had some black gloves and stuff. I'll probably show you a picture on here. But that's as close as I've gotten, and it was a one-time Halloween costume that I never wore again because the mask tore up the back because my fat head.
Oh,
but that's as close as I've ever gotten.
That just makes me think of the Michael Keaton Batman Returns. like literally tears off that plastic thing that he calls like a mask in order to like appeal to Catwoman and like say, please don't kill Christopher Walken. Please don't.
Yeah. So it is very daunting, especially for a guy like me who's never done it, who doesn't know how to sew, who doesn't want to spend a ton of money, but also doesn't want to be that like jack off in like the Walmart costume with like the big foam chest and stuff. And that just it looks as silly as it is, expensive.
Yeah.
So if I was gonna cosplay, I'd want it to at least look legitimate,
right?
Look cool.
Yeah, that's the desire of every cosplayer is like I want my costume to be fucking on point.
Yeah,
it's got to be so good.
It's just such a hard line to get to,
Oh
where
yeah,
it looks cool, but it doesn't look like goofy or like out of whack or super foamy and fake and
right. And
so.
like towing that line along with the line of you got to be able to afford it.
Yeah, it's also a big thing.
Like it'd be one thing if you're committed to like focusing on one costume and spending a little bit of money on it over the course of years, but it'd be a different thing if you decided like, oh man, I have this really cool idea and I'm going to see how far I can get with this amount of money. Yeah. And you only end up with like an armored torso.
Yeah. I have a costume coming up for Halloween because my girlfriend she's going to be dressing up as the the counselor or whatever from The Incredibles. I forget her name. The one with the bangs, the short one.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about.
But basically, she chose that because I'm going as a character that doesn't wear a cape, and that's going to be our running joke on Halloween.
It's like, no capes.
Yeah. So she's going to follow me around congratulating me on not wearing a cape.
You know what character would work for that?
You're probably guessing the character I'm going. It's a character I love and have mentioned on several occasions.
Is it Nightwing?
It's yes. Yeah.
I knew it.
I'm waiting for the jacket. I'm gonna have like either black jeans or like some kind of black pants of some sort, and then a Nightwing jacket that I special ordered. And then I got to figure out how to do a domino mask without some strings making it look really goofy. I don't know. I just don't understand how they hold it on there without anything.
I'll tell you the trick.
Spit?
No. At least not from what I've heard. There's a thing called spirit gum, where it's basically just this like kind of like a putty.
Okay.
That you basically put that on your face first, and then you affix the domino mask to your face.
Okay. Yeah, that's the hardest part of the costume for me. But basically, I'm just going to probably make some escrima sticks out of PVC pipe or something.
Oh,
and then
nice.
I'll make like holsters on my leg or something.
Sweet.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. I got some old army boots I can use and stuff, but...
Hey, well, I actually, funny you should mention Nightwing. There's a website where I saw literally a belt buckle with a Nightwing insignia on it, and it lights up.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's like a bright blue bird right over your junk.
Superman or Batman has the bright symbol on his chest, so criminals will aim at his chest, whereas Kevlar is. Nightwing's gonna have him aim at his dick. Just flashing groin.
It's like I don't know what it is, but I gotta hit that belt buckle.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going for. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it turns out.
Now, I know you have a lot of the components for Gambit already. I know you got the trench coat or whatever.
Oh, yeah. I definitely have the jacket, which, fun fact, can kind of double as a Rick Deckard jacket from Blade Runner. I've got that, I actually am about to order a chest piece that is going to look either really sick or really kind of like, dude, but why? And that's the funny thing about cosplaying certain characters is that I don't know what it is about certain artists designing characters for the first time, but there are certain characters out there, kind of like Mr. Miracle here, that make you go, what the ass? What is he wearing?
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of characters out there that are just so hard to pull off in a way that isn't not only super inconvenient, but
right,
goofy looking.
Right. It's like, if I were to cosplay Mr. Miracle, which God help me if I ever try that, one, a mask that somehow comes off and completely, when it comes on, conforms to his face, down to his mouth. And then right behind that, we have a Spawn-style, really high-collar cape.
Yeah.
Which...
with the giant gold medallions. Yeah, that would be pretty tough to pull off.
Oh, yeah. And that's not even considering, like, the rest of his just very uniquely designed costume.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a lot of red and yellow, and then another red, and then another yellow.
Yeah, you would definitely have to do a lot of sewing to pull that one off.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to find a pre-built Mr. Miracle outfit.
Oh, well, if this gets enough traction, you might. Yeah. But, it's... I always thought it was interesting, like, the barrier of entry into the world of cosplay, because it can seem very daunting, especially if you're
much
going
like comics.
Oh, yeah. Like, especially if you're going the sewn route. But as I've found, you find the right materials or the right amount of like things that have already been made, it can be pretty easy. You just, get your wallet prepared.
Yeah. I do have some cosplay pet peeves, especially at comic conventions.
Oh, yeah?
For example, people that go to comic exclusive events as, say, a video game character or some kind of, cartoon character that has never been a comic. Some kind of live TV or movie character that has never been a comic, People that show up to Comic Cons as Indiana Jones or show up to Comic Cons as, I'm just, I guess Power Rangers is currently a comic, but before it wasn't. People that show up as Mario and Luigi at comic conventions, like there's no reason to be Mario and Luigi or Master Chief,
You are at the wrong convention, sir.
That stuff annoys the hell out of me. I don't know why. I have no reason to give them grief, but just in my mind, I'm like, you son of a...
This is like, you fucked up.
You're at the wrong event. Get out of my place.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah. You kids. Meanwhile, I'm over here refusing to cosplay because it's expensive and hard to pull off. But,
yeah.
So I have some small pet peeves with that stuff. And, of course, everybody has to be Deadpool. And it's just...
there's always a Deadpool.
600 Deadpools. You might have one Spider-Man, Every once in a while, you'll see really cool ones. But most people are Mario, Luigi, Power Ranger, Deadpool, Spider-Man.
Fucking basic easy shit.
Yeah, I can't even think of any other ones that I see more often than those 5.
It's like, rarely have I ever seen someone do something.
The paid ones go as some kind of sexy whatever.
Yeah.
But obviously they're professionals.
There was one convention I remember going to where...
Harley Quinn.
Oh, of course, because that's the new thing now.
Couldn't forget that one.
Yeah. There's one that I thought I would never see, but I think this is like right after the movie came out when it kind of became a thing, but still kind of like, wait, but why though?
Mm-hmm.
The Watchmen's comedian.
Really?
Yeah. So some guy on purpose decided to dress up as the character who committed a rape.
To be fair, in the comic, she ends up with him anyway. Some kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's talk about, the nature of miracles and how, for some reason, a rape victim can still end up with the person who raped them later on down the line.
What's that syndrome called?
I was going to say Stockholm, but that's just from, like, falling in love with the person who kidnapped you.
It's the same thing. Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
For rapists, I guess.
Ish. Yeah. Never thought I'd see someone intentionally dress up as that character.
Yeah.
That being said,
someone's got to do it.
Their costume was on point.
Was it like the movie version?
No, it was actually the comic book version.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Put a lot of care into the comic book accuracy of this one.
So do you have a favorite cosplayer or anything like that?
Favorite cosplayer? I actually have one currently, and from, if I remember correctly, his Twitter handle is Monkey of Steel. He's actually done a couple of Bat in the Sun videos where he dressed up as Wolverine and was easily the most on-point Wolverine I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's like, you have to pull up a picture. It's like he has the like comic book accurate like head mask, and like the second I saw it, I was just like, that's Wolverine. That's fucking Wolverine right there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he pulls it off pretty good.
Oh, yeah, he definitely knows how to do it. Like, if I were doing a movie or, like, making a movie about the X-Men, I would get that guy.
I don't know. It looks cool for, like, the YouTube purposes, but I still argue against your point. I still think the Wolverine headpiece just looks so goofy in real life. It looks cool in drawings, but I don't know. If I saw a guy wearing that headpiece in real life, I'd probably just laugh and walk away.
Look, man, if you can justify Captain America having an A on his face and wings on the side of his head.
Yeah, but at least it's just a helmet. The Wolverine thing like fans out across it. He looks like a reindeer. He just has these random flaps that serve no purpose whatsoever.
Be that as it may, my God, does it look amazing.
Yeah, he does pull it off pretty good, though. I don't know if I could take a full movie of that, but
I'll take a full movie of that.
I think the short fans look a little better.
The down to a minimum fans.
Yeah.
The like it fanning like further and further out. I think it looks cool. Maybe not everyone's gonna buy it, but like, I'll buy that shit all goddamn day.
Any other ones?
Trying to think of another one. Shit. Also in the Bad in the Sun videos. The guy who dresses up as Spider-Man. Is it Aaron Shunke?
You would know better than I would.
Yeah.
I've seen all these videos, but I don't know any of their names.
Yeah. Fun fact, I think he did the mocap work for the video game Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's my favorite, like, Spider-Man cosplayer. He's just so on point with his.
Yeah. I feel like everybody does Spider-Man, though.
Yeah, Spider-Man and
Second only
Deadpool.
to Deadpool, yeah.
I don't know what it is with Deadpool.
At least for men, I don't know. Well, I guess we get a lot of Gwenpools, too.
Gwenpool's just Lady Deadpool, that's becoming a thing.
Yeah.
It just, for some reason, that costume is just like...
Granted, you can pull it off in real life and make it look cool, so I can see why it's so common.
Yeah, it's like, as long as you have a decent mask, the rest of it is just put some red on a black bodysuit or black on a red bodysuit, get some boots, and you're good.
I don't know, pretty much anything with a cowl or like a full helmet, like face thing, like a stormtrooper or something. It's just miserable. It gets
because
hot,
it doesn't
fogs
breathe.
Up, yeah,
it doesn't breathe for shit.
You're wearing all this rubber pasted to your face, and you're sweating your balls off. Yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah, I don't know how they did it. It's like, even in the actual movie, like Star Wars. God, I was about to say Star Trek. What the fuck am I thinking?
How dare you?
How dare I?
Dare you, sir?
But yeah, I remember looking at Mark Hamill take that helmet off, and you're just like, it's like, oh my god.
I don't know. For me, I don't really know cosplayers that well, but one person I can name who has gone far above and beyond normal cosplaying standards is Adam Savage.
Adam Savage.
For Mythbusters,
yeah,
obviously, and Tested.com and stuff. But he does so many awesome costumes. And again, his profession is, movie props and effects and stuff. So
makes sense.
That's how they started their career. But it's just excellent. I love it. He had the two Hellboy costumes. He had the movie Hellboy, and then he had the comic Hellboy costume. And then I think he did Buzz Lightyear one year. And then he had, what's the guy from Futurama? Zoidberg. He did the Zoidberg costume with the
little
RC powered, tentacles.
Oh my god!
He's done some really, really cool, really awesome costumes. Him and his group at Tested. So I definitely want to give a shout out to him.
If for nothing else, the Zoid, like the actual moving tentacles for Zoidberg alone.
Yeah, he just goes so far above and beyond the normal standard. Granted, he spends pretty much all year building these things for San Diego Comic-Con and stuff.
Oh yeah, but, it's the perfect place to display it.
Another one that's pretty hard to talk about and not mention is Jessica Negri.
Oh man, here we go.
I mean, obviously, there's two big obvious reasons why.
It's pretty.
People appreciate her cosplay.
Pretty undeniable. There's
she's very self-aware about it, I believe.
Oh yeah, like her. If you follow her on Instagram at all, it's very clear she knows what she's doing.
Yeah. Which is fine. She's pretty cool. I love her on podcasts and stuff. She just seems like a cool person.
Yeah.
She does some pretty awesome cosplays.
She definitely knows what brings the boys to the yard.
But she's done some pretty cool ones. I mean, I think my favorite one she did was Assassin's Creed 4 one where she did the pirate outfit or whatever for Assassin's Creed 4, and I think Ubisoft actually paid her to do that for them. They did like a whole video with it and stuff.
That was actually surprisingly tame for her.
Yeah, it was pretty tame, but she does awesome stuff, and like she creates all her stuff herself, and special orders a few things. But from what I've seen on her posts and on her podcasts and stuff, she's legit. She goes all for it, man.
I am actually surprised she hasn't gotten work as a costumer yet.
Yeah. So obviously I'm not like big into cosplay, beyond one Halloween costume. I haven't really dipped my feet into it. You're a little bit more deeper into it, and
a little more.
But those are two cosplayers I know well and have a lot of respect for. And obviously, Adam Savage, everybody knows for Mythbusters and his movie production stuff. But he's also just like an outrageously cool cosplayer.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was him or his assistant that did the Zoidberg one, but I know that he contributed in building it. But yeah, there's a lot of great ones out there, and like I said, some of them even have their own brand at stores like Joann Fabrics and what's the other one, Michaels, and probably Hobby Lobby too. Where they have their own special fabrics so that you can make your own cosplay costumes in similar fashions.
Yeah, there's actually, now that you bring up costumes that go above and beyond, I remember this was like right after Iron Man, or maybe it was Iron Man 2. I had started taking notice of cosplay more. Iron Man was huge, so why not try to make a costume that looks like you're actually Iron Man? It seemed impossible, at least to me. Like I didn't know how anyone could possibly make something like that movable. But there's this guy that found a way to not only move in a costume that makes him look like he's either Iron Man or War Machine, depending on which one he wants. But the face flips up.
Yeah, I've seen those videos. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's like, oh my god,
that blew me away when I saw that stuff.
It's like, holy shit, we're getting close.
Yeah, so close to reality.
Oh.
But it looks like I finally figured out who that cosplayer was that has the brand name with Joann's, at least, is Yahya Han, who's pretty famous for doing tons of costumes, and then she decided to make her own business in the fabrics and made a partnership with Joann's and everything. So that's the one I was thinking of, Yahya Han. So check that stuff out if you're into cosplay, because her fabrics are pretty unique. If you go in there, they're I don't know. I thought they were pricey, but again, I know nothing about
right
how much to pay for a yard of fabric or whatever.
Yeah,
but her fabrics were pretty unique compared to the rest of the ones that were in there, so they are very much specialized for costume making.
Yeah, for actually constructing costumes from like scratch, I still kind of know next to nothing about that. Like I know about materials that some would use like specifically for crafting like armor pieces.
Yeah,
but that's about it.
If you need me to craft you a ghillie suit, I can do that for you.
Hey!
Yeah, it won't be the prettiest thing in the world, but it'll be functional and Army certified.
That's okay.
I guess that counts. Does my Army ghillie suit count when I was in the Army?
If
I had to build it.
Here's the thing for that. To make that cosplay, I would need you to grow out your hair a little longer, grow out your beard.
Yeah, and I'd do that in the Army.
Yeah, and I would also give you a bandana so that we could turn you into Snake from the 60s. Yeah, it's like almost anything you can turn into cosplay nowadays.
Hideo Kojima. I'm available.
Hey!
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
Oh, well. Anything else to add to your cosplay topic?
Not that I can think of. I just say if you're looking into it, it's a lot easier than you think. But if you want to go hardcore, the sky's the limit.
Again, very much like comics itself.
Oh, yeah.
It's very daunting and very scary to approach and jump into because you don't know where in the continuity you're going to end up. But
there are places to jump in.
I think once you jump in, it's pretty hard to stop.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
it's a lot of fun.
My topic is going to be about something I have a lot of experience with, especially since we started this podcast. Falling behind. It's, as we know, comics, they release a lot of content.
Yeah. It seems more frequently as time goes on.
Sometimes to the point where it feels a little exploitative because they keep releasing 600 variants of the same comic so that you'll buy it, as many as you can.
Right.
Because you think they'll have value, but then they kind of depreciate because there's so many, and other things like, having a million launch books for your new rebirth or reboot, because people are going to buy them regardless of whether they're good content or not.
Oh, yeah.
Every time there's a reboot, whether it's New 52 or Rebirth or Convergence and whatever, all the Marvel ones as well, you're going to get a ton of sales, at least initially, for those number ones. And it always gets to a point for me where, I buy one, I buy two, I buy three, I buy four, a week, and then, I box them, I bag them, board them, make sure that they don't get, damaged at all, before I can get a chance to read them. And I just don't have the time to read them. And then it builds up on itself. And now, for the past year, I've been at a point where I am buying and boarding and boxing comics I don't even read because because I haven't had the time to read the previous ones,
right?
To get caught up, and I don't want to spoil anything for myself by flipping through it or something,
right?
So I get these comics and I get to look at the cover art and appreciate it. And that's it. And then they're bagged and boarded and they're stored away until I can finally read them. And then if I want to frame them, post them or whatever, share them, whatever the case may be. And I know I'm not the only one in this. I know there's plenty of people that have the same issues, There's only so much time in the week, whether it's, a video game or a book or a comic book or movies or Netflix series,
Yeah.
Amazon series, all these things I need to catch up on. And I eventually get to a point where I feel like I can't even enjoy the discussion because I'm so afraid something's going to get spoiled for me.
Right.
I'm so afraid that something's going to get talked about. And I know we try to avoid this, but sometimes, especially when things are a year, 2 years, 3 years old,
right,
we go into it anyway. And granted, if anybody's annoyed by that, I'm sorry. I understand it. I've totally been in those situations. But I just don't know how to deal with it. Like, do I just take a week off work to try to catch up on everything and see what I can get? I still have obligations to, my home life. I still have obligations for work and, everything else. And obviously the podcast is another big time eater. At some point, I got to come up with some kind of plan or else I'm just going to get buried in these series and it's going to be so daunting to try to go back to it that I just won't even try. And that's what I'm most afraid of. Getting to a point where I just have so much to catch up on and I'm so far behind that I give up on it,
Yeah, that's I wish I had an answer for that. It kind of depends on...
Have you ever felt this way? And if so, how do you deal with it?
Well, I can tell you I felt that way about several comic book titles. There was a time in which I was following, I think it was all-new Ghost Rider. I was following that specifically because I'm a long-time Ghost Rider fan. Like, he's been one of the characters that, as a child... Like, I would always look for toys of him. Yeah. Which was...
Well, he's pretty cool looking. So.
Oh, yeah. There's, like, motorcyclist, which...
No, I'm guessing old Ghost Rider, not new Ghost Rider, right?
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel about the new one?
The new one... he's got a television show, or he was on television for a little bit. This is the thing, going back to your original issue of just falling behind. I, myself, had fallen behind on those comics and just never really took the time to get back into them because, that was at a time when I had a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
I would like to revisit those and maybe see how those issues turned out, because the first couple of issues were pretty amazing. Since, spoiler alert, for all of you who haven't read the all-new Ghost Rider series that started in, 2015, maybe 2014, maybe 2013, I don't know. We bring in a new character named Robbie Reyes, which for some reason in Marvel we really like having alliterative names. But Robbie Reyes is a guy who's looking out for his little brother or cousin, I think. It's unclear. I think it's his brother. He's looking out for his brother who is confined to a wheelchair, and I think in the comics actually might have some kind of developmental disability.
Okay.
It's unclear. But at night, when no one's watching, not even the people who he works for, which he works for a garage, which is why he has access to cars.
Okay.
He finds this nice, tricked-out hot rod and decides to take it drag racing. Well, not drag racing, just street racing.
So he doesn't have a motorcycle. He has a hot rod.
He has a car. This is Ghost Rider with a car. Yeah. Think about that for a minute.
He's not riding anything. He's Ghost Rider, not Ghost Driver. Marvel. Quit Disneyfying everything.
Oh. It hurts. But the interesting concept for this was
Tom Cruise movie. Jack Reacher. Yeah. It's
like
Jack Reacher with Ghost Rider.
And Jack reaching with his title. Boom.
Sick burn, bro.
Oh, so sick. Somebody get that ointment for that sick burn. Yeah, with this title, like the big thing was, instead of having him tied to a demon, we're just going to have him tied to his uncle, who was a Satanist, who for some reason, like when he died,
Mr. Crowley.
Brr, brr, brr. Yeah, it was like his uncle is called Eli Morrow. He's basically Mr. Crowley in this story.
Excellent.
His uncle has somehow spiritually fused himself to this car, and when Robbie Reyes takes it racing one night,
Is Stephen King aware that this exists? So I feel like a lawsuit should be filed.
Maybe. Who knows?
Continue.
It might be somewhat inspired by his work.
Yeah.
But,
sounds very familiar.
Yeah, he drives it in a street race. He drives into a back alley with a dead end, and he gets gunned down because he maybe kind of cheated. I don't know. I don't know how you cheat in a street race other than just being too souped up, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, Robbie Reyes dies. And then comes back to life as the Ghost Rider.
All right.
And I wanted to see where that went.
Never got to it?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope, never got to it. Other things happened in my life that I was a bit too busy.
Understandable.
And yeah, there are other titles just like that I have very... What's the word that I'm looking for? Reluctantly. That's the word. I've very reluctantly had to abandon for the sake of just things coming up in my life that I had to take care of.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't exclusively a problem with comics either. I think it's more of a problem with comics simply because so many come out so quickly and they reboot every 3 years. It feels like 2 or 3 years. There's another reboot.
Right.
So it's just hard to follow and hard to remember what took place where and what's connected to what, Was Darkest Night relevant to, New 52? Yes, it kind of was, but it kind of wasn't because they kind of acknowledged it, but sometimes they didn't,
Yeah.
And just stuff like that adds to the confusion and the daunting task of jumping back in.
That actually...
Blackest Night, excuse me.
That actually makes me think of, like, the daunting task of trying to get into, like, the Amazing Spider-Man from, like, issue 1.
Really?
Yeah. Like, because they have, like, 500 or more. Maybe 600. It might be 700. I have no idea. But it's kind of insane. Looking back at issues that have gone on that long, I can see why they would reboot so that, people could have a jumping in point.
I think that's a big reason why, like, the bigger characters tend to do better. For example, Batman, Superman, those types of books.
Yeah.
Because there's very, very little turnover in the narrative with Superman and Batman. Yeah, every once in a while, one of them dies and somebody takes their place temporarily or something.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, that Batman is Bruce Wayne, his parents are dead, and he's beating the shit out of somebody because he's angry that his parents are dead. And then
there's very clear constants that are just things you can rely on.
Yeah, and his love interest will probably die unless it's Catwoman,
who will just leave and then come back later.
Yeah, and then with Superman, that his planet blew up. He grew up with the Kents. He's from Smallville. He's a reporter. He's in love with Lois Lane. Maybe Wonder Woman, New 52.
Yeah, like a lady who's kind of intimidating with dark hair.
Yeah. But generally speaking, there's very little turnover with those characters. They tell more or less the same sorts of stories over and over again with some cool flair once in a while. And, I'm looking at you, Snyder. And, they get things right. And for the people that are trying to either get into comics or get back into a comic book, those are the ones I usually go to, specifically Batman, because it's just so easy for me to go to Batman and be like, okay, I know generally what the context is. There might be one spoiler or two spoilers, like, oh, something happened to Alfred or something happened to, Damien or something,
Yeah.
Then I'll be a little lost. But generally speaking, I can kind of pick up what's going on without spoiling too much for myself.
Yeah, like there's a crime. Batman's got to stop it. Who is he punching in the face this week?
Yeah, that's especially true for Superman sometimes.
Yeah.
There's a few exceptions.
Yeah, for Superman, it's like, oh, the planet's in danger, or specifically Metropolis is in danger.
Yeah.
Everything is about to come crashing down.
Yeah.
Who is Superman punching in the face this week?
Now, there's some books that are just so daunting to get back into if you haven't kept up, and the biggest example is X-Men for me.
Oh, yeah.
I miss X-Men so much because I stopped reading it about 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm so far behind now. I have no idea what they did with their Secret Wars 2 or whatever, and their latest Rebirth, and I have no idea what's going on now, and there's so many not new characters but different versions of characters together, and I have no idea what's going on or what I should care about or what's a spoiler and what I should avoid and what has already been spoiled for me, and I just don't want to even touch it because I have if I wanted to go back and use, say, Comixology or whatever to catch up, I have no idea where to even begin because there's been at least one reboot, if not two, and I have no idea who's on which X-Men group and which one's the official X-Men group and which one's just like an auxiliary story,
The sheer number of X titles that come out at any given moment can make it a little daunting to try to follow what's going on generally with the X-Men, which if there's one thing that you can count on, It's that somebody's hating on the X-Men this week.
Yeah. And I'm a very narrative driven person, whether it's video games, movies, comics, you name it.
There has to be a plot.
I get very invested in the plot and in the characters and whatever else. And if I feel like I've forgotten an aspect or I'm not immersed in that aspect of the character anymore, generally speaking, I don't even try to go back to it, because I know if I go back to it, I'll just want to go back to the beginning and reestablish everything in my mind.
Refresh
and
everything.
that takes even more time,
Yeah.
I do this a lot with video games nowadays, like Divinity Original Sin. Very cool game, very narrative heavy, a lot of backstory, a lot of stuff you got to read and whatever else. And I was enjoying myself. I played it for probably a month straight and still wasn't close to finishing it, I don't think. And there was just a lot of cool narration. I was really into the story, but then I took a break from it because I got busy with something, and I probably will never go back to it. Not because it wasn't great, but because I have forgotten so much of the narrative and so much of the character development, and I can't start that game again. I just don't have the time.
It's a time sink.
And I'm that way with movies. I'm that way with TV series. And
oh God, yeah.
There's just so much, and it's such a struggle to culturally stay updated and relevant.
Yeah.
And be able to join in the conversations without worrying that something that you want to read in the future gets spoiled for you, or something you want to watch in the future gets spoiled for you, or something. And I know that some people have time limits, a year, usually 5 months or 6 months to years where people kind of cut you off. But there's just so much content out there. It's just so difficult to keep up with. And I'm not complaining about there being a lot of content. It's good that there's plenty of choices in the world we live in. But
yeah,
if you have more than one passion, it's just so hard to keep up,
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
it's almost as daunting as starting comics. To get back into comics,
Yeah.
Or back into a series at least.
It kind of feels like you'd have to take an extended sabbatical just to come current, I guess. Yeah. Which, honestly, I've become more and more convinced of the conclusion that I've come to, which is being current isn't all that necessary. As long as you are enjoying what you're reading, or enjoy it enough to, if you have other things going on, pick it back up again later. If it's worth it to do that, then more power to that particular thing that you're trying to get back into. Otherwise, if there's one thing that I can more appreciate as time goes on, specifically for comic books, it's graphic novels. For me, I feel like I was able to actually get through The Watchmen only because by the time I had finally gotten to it, it was in a completed graphic novel form that I could just spend an afternoon or an evening just isolated with this one thing that I finally wanted to read from front to back.
Yeah, that's one thing I did with Walking Dead that I'm happy I have been doing. Basically, I just wait for the compendiums.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, 50 issues or something. It's huge.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of content. But basically, I wait till those come out, and then I get one, and then I read it from cover to cover. And thankfully, I wasn't a big zombie guy when the show was coming out, and I didn't even watch the first season until 2 seasons in, 3 seasons in, or whatever. So nothing was really spoiled for me, and I was able to catch up. And thankfully, the comic and the TV show diverged a little bit, and then they came back together later. But thankfully, nothing was really spoiled for me by the time I could read the compendium. So that's one example where it did work out, where waiting did help me out and didn't hurt me, much like your Watchmen.
Oh, yeah. Which I think I also did something similar with The Walking Dead. God, how long ago? This is years and years and years ago. I think one of the things that was initially a barrier of entry for me is the black and white style. I don't know what it is about monochromatic print, but it just put me to sleep.
Really?
Yeah. Which is a shame, because it wasn't until like a little while into reading that I grew to realize that, like, oh, I see what they're doing here. This is an homage to Night of the Living Dead, like the original George A. Romero film.
Yeah.
Like, it was all in black and white, so they decided to go that route. And it was only after, like, reading, like, I think I had gotten past the dealing with the governor, that after reading that I had seen, like, season 1 start for that show. I was like, oh, yeah, I see what they're doing here. Yeah, they're keeping pretty close. I don't remember reading about Daryl.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
The best character.
He's an original creation. Yeah. I can relate to, like, being able to, like, enjoy reading a shit ton of The Walking Dead, like, all in one sitting, and then getting into the show.
Yeah, which is pretty much how it happened for me, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
I don't have too much more to say. Anything to add?
I would say, and just reiterate, don't stress too much about, like, needing to keep current. That is, like, the one thing that will, in some cases, lead a lot of people to make a foolish decision to, like, oh, like, I gotta stay current. I gotta watch all of Daredevil season 2 in, like, a couple of days. I'm calling off work.
Yeah.
Like, I'm skipping school. Go to work. Like, that show is not going anywhere. It will be there when you get back home.
Yeah, I think myself included, some people just put too much anxiety on themselves to complete stuff and, you know, keep up with what they like, you know.
Yeah.
I need to stop doing it to myself, because every time I worry about, oh, something got spoiled for me or something, then I actually pick it up and read it, and I realize that I had no context for it, and the spoiler was maybe not what I thought it was, or maybe it was a little bit different in context.
Right.
It still sucks when something gets kind of spoiled for you and the surprise is taken away. It happens a lot on news sites, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Specifically for, like, new things. Like, I hate it when in my Facebook feed or something, some thing, you know, Joker did this in the newest comic, and I'm like, ugh. Like, I'm like a year behind. You just spoiled the issue that came out today. You know, I hate that stuff. It drives me crazy.
It's like, wait, but why? What led to? Oh my god,
And
I
of
have so
course,
much reading.
I don't necessarily know the context for it. I'm not going to click that article and read further, because I'm not going to ruin it for myself even more. But
right,
when stuff like that happens, it's just, you know, it drives me crazy, and I can't.
The dreaded clickbait.
Yeah.
It's truly the worst.
The Facebook paid advertisement clickbait at that, you know. The algorithm knows how to target me. It just drives me crazy. It spoils so much for me.
It knows what you like.
So don't worry about it, people.
Yeah.
Just get into it when you can. If something sounds interesting, even if you think you're not going to get the full impact because of the surprises or whatever, just take a chance, you know. Jump in. And it is easier to read collections when they're all together, because you can read a year's worth of comics in, you know, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever.
Oh yeah. The biggest thing, folks, is that this is entertainment. This is all entertainment. Which, by the way, speaking of entertainment, Mr. Miracle, supremely entertaining and intriguing. Start it now. There are only 2 issues in. About to be 3 issues in. But if you need to wait because you have other things going on, wait. Just don't stress it. Like, this is supposed to be fun. That's the entire point of this, is you're supposed to enjoy these stories or those television shows or those movies. There is no real need to stay current that bad.
For sure.
Like if someone's trying to have a conversation about it or spoil it, go do something else. Tune it out. Just ask them not to spoil it for you. Whatever it is, just don't get too hung up on it. It's not that big a deal.
Well, before we move on, I just want to give out a little shout out to DC Comics. It seems like maybe they took our advice a little bit, and they no longer have the giant blue banner blocking half the artwork. Granted, the title's still there, and they still have their buttons, obviously, which is fine.
Yeah,
but they're
branding.
actually having the artwork there and available. They don't have the giant advertisement on top, and then the blue banner, rebirth here, and then like Mr. Miracle down here over his face.
Yeah.
And then this much artwork. They still put the barcode on the front. You don't need the popsicle on the thing. No, you don't need the barcode on the front.
You can put that on the back easily.
The owner can scan the back with no problems.
Right.
Yeah, it's nice to have a standard, but you don't need it on the front blocking the artwork, please.
Yeah. I have one issue, like out of all the things that we've mentioned, my biggest issue is this right here.
The GQ quote. Yeah.
Right.
The GQ quote is probably unnecessary.
It's like, if anything, you should be putting quotes for, what people think of it on the inside of the issue somewhere. Having it be like, oh, like even these people know that it's great.
Yeah.
If they like it, you should like it and buy it. No, we do not need that in the front.
Yeah, that's a fair criticism. If my personal preference to DC and Marvel does this too, they have their big giant red banners and their digital now banner and the barcode and everything. They're just as bad, but
yeah.
I do appreciate that they took away that giant blue bar and they don't have the advertisement on the front.
The DC Rebirth.
I agree that it's kind of goofy to have the GQ quote on here. They probably don't need that, but at least it's small.
Yeah, they at least have it kind of out of the way.
If you are going to put something big on the front, make a bigger DC if you want. But give credit to the writer and the comic artist.
Yes, if anything should be bigger, it should be like who made it.
Exactly. You got Tom King and Gerard's down here. Just, get rid of this barcode, put it on the back. It's not going to hurt anybody. And just make the names bigger so we can actually see them and appreciate who's been creating this content. And, that's the best way to, for comic book enjoyers and fans to find what they want to read is to have a writer they enjoy or an artist they enjoy and be able to spot that, hey, every time I enjoy such and such comic book, it seems to come from this guy or this guy and this woman or this woman, and I'm just going to keep picking up their stuff because obviously they know how to appeal to me,
Oh, yeah.
And I they get a little bit more credit than they used to, but I still don't think they get enough credit. And, obviously it'd be nice to have like the inker, on the front too,
Yeah.
And, like the colorist, that it's good that they give them credit in the book, but it'd be nice to have their names on there instead of a giant barcode,
Right, a barcode
and a
that
GQ quote,
a barcode that could clearly go in the back.
Yeah.
I do appreciate in a weird way where they show like clearly this is issue number 2. Right underneath that they have in lettering the words of 12.
Yeah, that's just because it's a special run. It's not a continuing comic.
Oh yeah, but
DC's always done that.
Just the concept of having an expectation.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you can expect.
Yeah.
At least 12 issues.
There's an end game.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this isn't going to be some open-ended, we're going to keep riding this train till the wheels fall off story.
We're going to stretch this as far as we can. We're going to keep milking it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's nice to know that there's going to be
like an actual end.
Yeah.
Yeah. A complete story is always appreciated.
So with that, we'll move on to our next segment, which is this week's Cosplayer of the Week.
Ooh, who's this week's?
This week's Cosplayer of the Week is Emery!
It's me!
With his Gambit mask.
I did it, guys. Yeah, I did it.
Yeah,
It's on my face.
He does have the full outfit. We just don't have a picture of it right now. But
Oh, yeah.
we're naming him because I was too lazy to find one.
It'll be me this time. Maybe next time it'll be you.
Remember, you can submit your cosplay to us to be featured on our Cosplayer of the Week at HTBVids on Twitter. That's HTBVIDS
Ooh.
on Twitter. Or on Facebook at facebook.com/hitthebooks. Please do not submit other people's cosplay. We don't want to accidentally post something that's not yours.
Yeah, whatever you do, post your own work.
Is there anything else? That was like a drag-on sentence.
Yeah, it was like post your own work and...
I thought there was something coming.
And, be respectful. Just whatever you do, don't post anything like weirdly graphic or nasty.
Or do.
We'll
probably feature you.
Feature / embarrass
if
need be.
Post it on Twitter. It's probably safe.
Yes. If it's safe for Twitter, we'll take it.
Yeah, don't be shy, people. We're not gonna, send hate your way.
We're not gonna send hate or shame. Just make it a picture that people are not going to be like, that's NSFW. Make it safe for work.
I mean, doesn't have to be. You gotta understand, I have to go through this stuff. Sometimes I want some eye candy. You don't know.
Okay. Forget what I just said. Send in whatever you want. Just make sure it's yours.
One last big announcement for you folks. We finally got our website domain back. Our website is up and running. It doesn't have a ton of content on it yet because we're still putting everything together and submitting our RSS feeds to your podcasting services like Twitter. Switch.
All the
Stitcher.
Twitters.
I'm stumbling tonight. On Stitcher and iTunes, and we'll probably get it on SoundCloud and all those other streaming platforms, in addition to, obviously, YouTube, which we've been on for a while now. And we'll finally start, broadcasting and, advertising a little bit. And we'll hopefully have some written reviews and stuff to finally put on the website again.
Yeah.
After a year of getting situated again. So thanks again for sticking with us. That wraps up another mediocre episode of Hit the Books Podcast.
Mediocre.
I want to thank you all for sticking with us. If you like what you hear, be sure to hit like and subscribe down below and follow us on your podcast services of choice and on our social networks. Again, we're on Twitter at HTBVids. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/hitthebooks. I'm your host, Chris Holcomb.
And I'm Emery Saunders.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.